I bought original art because of that guy.
Hey, let's not
bad influence, man.
Let's not play the blame game here, Jimmy. I'm excited about this because I feel like it's been like 2 months, but it's really only been like 3 weeks since the beginnings of this whole deal materialized. And
yeah, no kidding.
there were a lot of steps along the way, and you know, I had to teach you some things. I had to be a little bit patient, but it all worked out, and we're here, so I'm happy.
Absolutely. I got my learn on, so I got some new skills to work with.
There you go. Exactly.
Right.
It's all helpful for the future of the hobby.
Absolutely. You know, and I've been excited about this because like this is something totally different than I've ever done, you know, like in my collecting, right? Yeah. You know, because it's always like, you know, it's always felt like really so expensive. Like it's like something I wasn't going to be able to do. So that's, you know, like one of the things that's kind of kept me from it, you know, for the most part.
It always is until it isn't. I said the same thing.
Right.
I said the same thing back in 2017 when I thought it was too expensive, and then I started buying my first published pages in 2018. So
that I get it.
Yeah.
So to kind of lay out the story here, what Kavi was talking about before about like the amount of time that it took. So I happened to be on the hunt. And I stepped into a half-price books out, you know, in an area that I don't normally go to. So it's not one I frequent. And lo and behold, I mean, they had a large selection of comics there, which was, you know, very surprising, you know, and that kind of took most of my attention. But as I'm heading to the counter, I noticed that if you've been in a half-price books, there's a section where they do all the intake of all the books, like all the used books coming in and everything like that. So they got counters and they got, you know, like stacks of books and everything. But up on the top of the bookcases across there, they had lined up pages of original art. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? So I took a closer look and I'm analyzing it. They had a page from Jim Lee. They had you know, some pages from some X-Men books, you know, some earlier X-Men books and some other things. And I was just like, wow, that's really impressive. Of course, I'm looking at the prices and I'm like, wow, some of those prices are whoa. And so I started taking pictures and I started sending them to Kavi, and I'm like, hey, what, you know, like is this like normal price, you know? Because, you know, this stuff went from like, what was it, like $500 to $3,500, something like that. It was just like a lot, right? And I was just really, you know, kind of taken aback because I never bought the art before, you know, as I was saying, this is something new to me. And doing that, you know, like and having that conversation with Kavi here, it, you know, it kind of opened my eyes to it, you know, and then lo and behold, he was like, you know, I actually like that page, you know, let's talk about getting that page. And I'm like, all right. So,
yeah. So I think I also gave you a little bit of like market insights on the X-Men pages that you saw. And, you know, if there's anything, I can't think of a single thing hotter right now in original comic art than X-Men pages. No, especially if it's from the original run, you know, you know, like, you know, along the original numbering or whatever.
For 64,
and you know, and 90s X-Men artists.
Yeah, John Byrne and Chris Claremont.
I mean, forget John Byrne. Forget John Byrne. That's like, it's impossible. Like, you know, John Byrne X-Men pages from the original run are going for like 20 to 40,000, depending upon what's on the page, and you know, if the whole team's on the page, or you know what, there's a lot of there's a wide range there, but the bottom half of the range I can't afford. So I'm just get it when it comes to that. But like all the other X-Men artists are rising popularity. You know, obviously Jim Lee is probably the next artist down from the, you know, price range standpoint, but all, you know, Silvestri, you know, Mark, Alan Davis, Mark Farmer, you know, like all those guys had their moments on that run.
Right.
And a lot of those, you know, pages are starting to get more popular. And so X-Men art is like a pretty hot commodity these days, for sure. So I gave him a little advice on that, a little bit of price, like what the prices have been lately at Heritage and where else for some of the artists. and whatnot. But I also said, hey, like if you think they're willing to deal, I'd be willing to pay X amount for this other page, which was kind of the big boy page of that whatever collection that they were processing, right? Or that they had just recently processed. So so I don't remember how many days later you had to go back to do
it. It was like a week or two. Then, you know, like it was at least a week before I actually was like I had to go back into my office, so I wasn't that far away. And it was like, okay, I'll swing over there, which is like, it's still not even close, right? It's like, you know, O'Hare Airport, I'm like right here, you know, next to O'Hare Airport, and it's like way, you know, to the west. So, but I'm like, you know what, I'll pop out a little early. I'll swing over there and let's see what they're willing to do. And lo and behold, they, you know, after some negotiations for a little bit of time, they took the deal. And both Kavi and I got a little bit of art. Yeah. So we're going to show that here in a second. I'm going to start with mine because
then I had to teach you how to ship OA, which was,
that's true. Yeah. Because he was like, "Don't ship it the way it is," because it was just in it was here. I'll just
it was a raw page and a
raw page just in a top loader. So then I had to order art bags and boards. Yeah. Right, to slip them into before like it actually like went out, and that took more time, right? Because nobody in my area, and surprisingly not Chicagoland area, nobody had original art size sleeves. I had to order pre-combo BCW ones from Amazon, to get here. And like when they finally showed up, then it was like, okay, now I can actually ship this stuff out. Okay, so one of my absolute all-time favorite X-Men artists is Mark Silvestri, right? I loved his work on the Darkness, but because he came from the X-Men in the time that I was reading the X-Men, when I got into the X-Men, which is the early 200s, you know, following the Mutant Massacre, and when they're out in the Australian outback, like that was like my favorite like X-Men, you know, kind of run, aside from the Claremont Byrne stuff in, you know, in the 100s. So I was able to find art, and I'm going to show the books. I didn't get the covers; they're interior pages. But this is the book that the first one comes from, where they're fighting Master Mold. Well, actually, where it's not really Master Mold, it's actually Nimrod, who picks up a piece of Master Mold technology and actually turns into one. Mm-hmm. And this was the most stunning page that I saw out of it. And it's page 22 with a conversation between Rogue and Psylocke happening in a diner, when Rogue is actually inhabited by the consciousness of Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel.
Dude, I love that page, man.
It is so cool. And I love that all the word bubbles are actually glued onto it. Mm-hmm. And it's just such a
90s art, right? It's a 90s X-Men page.
Absolutely, yeah. Straight up 90s X-Men page. Dude, and this is just super sweet looking.
Yeah, John's got it. 90s X-Men hotties alert.
Right? It's this first panel here with Rogue's face is just incredible. And it's really indicative of the quality of Mark Silvestri's art.
Dude, I love it, man. I'm so glad that you pulled the trigger on this page and the other page. Like for first pages in OA, like 90s X-Men art, that's pretty damn good, man. That's pretty sweet.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the second one is actually from the following book. And believe me, I wish I could have the cover art here because I'm a huge Havoc fan, right? Like that's my character from the X-Men is Havoc.
I wish I could have a few 90s X-Men covers too, believe me.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure we all could. And what's really cool about this is page 4 from the interior where they're fighting Master Mold. And I got a nice shot of Havoc right up in here.
Hell yeah.
Right. Forgive the glare on that.
Yeah, that's a cool like group shot right there.
Right. And then I dig the Rogue in the Miss Marvel outfit.
Hell yeah.
With with Psylocke behind her. The original Betsy Braddock Psylocke, right before she became the Asian ninja.
Yep.
Right, she got the big flowing little Red Riding Hood look, or little Purple Riding Hood.
Awesome.
But just, oh man, the detail, it's just so good.
Dude, those are great first pages, man.
Yeah, no, it's really, I'm so happy that I did get it. I'm so happy.
I thought the prices that they had for them were basically fair market value prices, and I think you got a little bit of a discount on that. I got a significant discount on my page, which I couldn't believe, frankly. And I'm very happy.
Work that deal.
Very happy about that.
So.